Hey guys, we are back and I am so excited. I mean, I say that every time, but I'm really excited this time because it is Turtle Roundup Day. And I have so many, well, I have 8. I have 8 turtles. It feels like so many. It feels like I've been working on these forever. Honestly, the hardest part is probably deciding which patterns to do because there's so many good patterns for turtles. And there's sea turtles and land turtles or tortoises. There's tiny turtles and jumbo turtles and human-sized turtles. And I decided to go simple. We picked turtles that mostly just look like turtles. I did not do a lot of the specialty ones. I know I'm missing some of your guys' favorites, and I know you're gonna tell me about it in the comments. And that is okay, please do. Tell me which ones I'm missing, because I will do this again. We are gonna have to do another turtle roundup a couple times down the road after we do a couple more patterns, I think, because I could do this video 7 times and still not get them all, I think. And we have a wide range of styles and types. So we're gonna jump on in. I'm Karen, this is Yarn and Whimsy. If I didn't say that, which I know I didn't, I never do. Our first turtle today, we're gonna start with a free pattern that I like a lot. This was probably the first turtle pattern that I got. And it's super cute. I got this on Ribblr. This is the mini crochet turtle. It's a no-sew and it's from CrochetedByL on Ribblr. I think I've told this story before, but once upon a time, when I first learned to crochet, I thought, wouldn't it be fun to make little turtles for every person in my daughter's sorority? Actually, I think she thought that, and I thought, sure, why not? How hard could that be? Really, really hard. That could be really, really hard is the question. And it wasn't even for all the sorority members. I think it was just for the new pledge class. So it was like 25 turtles. So I made little tiny ones like this. And this one I just made out of, this is the new Big Twist Posh yarn. It did have eyes. Initially, I actually ripped the eyes out because I let my new puppy play with this because she just was following it all over the house. So she played with it. It's held up great, FYI, if you have dogs. This yarn held up great for her. Supervised play only though, but I did take the eyes out just to be safe. Anyway, let me tell you about this. This pattern, it's in Ribblr. I don't love picking up patterns on Ribblr. I don't know how you guys feel about that. Is that a hot take? I don't love getting patterns on Ribblr, but this was a free one, so I did get it on Ribblr. Because you can't download those. You can only access them on Ribblr. And I like to put everything in my iPad app so I can organize it in there. I can mark my favorites. I can make different lists. And I just prefer that as a storage method for all my patterns. So that's a bummer. I don't love that. It might be available other places. I did not find it if it was. Things I like about this, it's super quick. It took me like 20 minutes maybe to make this. Things I would do different though, it gives you the option. So I've got 1, 2, 3 colors here. It gives you the option for 3 colors. And I think I would probably only do 2 colors in the future. And I'll tell you why. Because of the very small area that you're working in down here, in order to do these feet in the same color as the head and make it different from the bottom of the shell, these bobble stitches are in such a small area and you're turning a corner and it's really, really hard to not end up with this peekaboo kind of color here that just doesn't belong there, right? And that bothers me. I know it doesn't bother everyone. It bothers me. I try really hard to clean that up. And this one, I just couldn't. So I would probably just do the whole bottom in the dark green if I were to do it again. And I think that would look great. I've done it like that before and it looked great. This is a good one. That's the other thing with this one. The eye placement instructions are after you've already closed up the head. And that's I don't know, maybe just a teeny tiny pet peeve of mine. It's not a big deal. You can fix that by reading your pattern ahead of time. I don't always do that. I know that's best practice. I know. But I don't always do that. And so when I close up the head and then it tells me to add the eyes, I'm like, oh, of course it does. That's a little on me and a little bit I wish the pattern specified it. But that's my only complaint on this one. Otherwise, it's a really good, quick pattern. And I think it turned out really good. Pattern number 1 We're gonna put it directly battling pattern number 2 because these are the 2 tiniest turtles I have today. Ribblr's mini crochet turtle versus Scout the sea turtle. Scout the sea turtle, first of all, is adorable. Isn't he cute? I've made this one before several times. I don't really know the pattern designer personally, but I did pattern test. I did get to pattern test this when she first was working with this pattern, and it was fun to do. It was my first pattern test I think I'd ever done. I've still only done like 3. And if you want a pattern tester, someone hit me up. I'm a good pattern tester, sort of. I don't do Instagram. Well, that's, anyway, not important to our project today. So this is Scout the Sea Turtle. This pattern is really clever. I like it so much. This is mostly no sew. This is what I would call low sew. You work the shell and then you go straight into working this body, and these fins or flippers are worked into the pattern. You don't make them separately and crochet them in. They're just part of this round that you do here. This round includes making these as part of the round. So there's no extra steps here, and I love that. I like that an awful lot because you're just, I mean, I don't have to misplace anything. I don't have to keep track of any tiny little parts. I just keep crocheting. The only part that is made separately is the head, and this pattern does call for the head to be sewn on. I did do that because that's what the pattern said, but this would be pretty easy, I think, to adapt to crochet in if you wanted to. I think you could do that no problem. I also go back and forth on whether or not I think the head is maybe a little big for the body. I think it would be better if I had crocheted it in, maybe even. It just, when I'm sewing it on, it feels a little awkward to place sometimes. I chose this pattern, one, because I pattern tested it, so I know it, but also this is a really new designer. This was, I think, her first published pattern, and now she's got some modifications out for it, like a strawberry version. It's just really cute, and I really love the thought of being able to support a new designer. And so between these 2 patterns, I am more likely to make this one again and again and again and again and again because it is so quick and easy. This one, 20-25 minutes this takes me. It goes together so quick, and I just think it's so cute. I made it a few times in different, just very pretty pastel colors, and I just think it's so pretty. It sold out as soon as I laid it on the table at my last market of the year. That's a bonus. Between these 2, I'm gonna give this one a slight edge. It uses less yarn, it takes less time, it's less steps, and I just think it's super cute. I like it. Anyway, this one, and so this is from Crochet by Callie shop. It is a paid pattern, and I paid $3.50 for it, which I think is not a bad price. Maybe a little high because it is a really tiny, simple pattern. If the modifications are included, I think that would make it worth more, but it's a good pattern, and for $3.50, I'm gonna make it a lot. Okay, what do you guys think? Which teeny tiny turtle patterns of yours did I miss? I know they're out there. I wanted to do Tank the Turtle. That one's cute. I didn't get that one done. I did, however, get this one done. And this could be smaller. This is bordering on Tiny Turtle. This is Tofu the Turtle. But I did him in blanket yarn, so he turned out kind of big, but also adorable. Tofu the Turtle is a paid pattern on Etsy. I paid $3.75 for this. It's by Meg Makes Patterns or Meg Makes Crochet on Instagram and Etsy. And I do like this. I know a lot of people do this. It is very similar in feel to this, only this one, the head is crocheted in. And there's a tail, and these are not bobble stitches. These are a little something extra. You got to get the pattern if you want to know all the tricks. This is a really good one. I love that the neck is a little longer and curves up a little bit. It is worked all in one piece. There are no extra pieces sewn on. The only extra step you have to do at the end is if your head is a little floppy, you just sew it along the shell right here to get it to stay up. And it stays up great. Not only does it stay up great, it sits great. Some of these ones tend to fall forward, and this one sits good. I like this one a lot. It's super easy. There's a little something extra here that makes these feet a little more pronounced, and I think better. I just think these feet look great. For being worked into the pattern, I think these feet are excellent. Really enjoy those. All in all, this pattern's a win for me too. I like it so much. I get why it's so popular. I get why so many people make it, and I didn't at first. So I'm really glad I bought this one. All right, we're gonna move on to All from Jade. All from Jade. Fair warning, I love her patterns. I love them so, so, so much. My gold standard turtle that I make all the time, my go-to turtle, is an All from Jade turtle. It's Tiana the Sea Turtle, especially since she added in the pattern for the half moon flippers. That pattern is perfect. It's such a good pattern. I did not review it for this because I know it so well. I'm biased. I only have eyes for that pattern most of the time. I really like it. So if you haven't tried that pattern, highly recommend, even though it's not part of this. This one, I chose to do her Tessa the Tortoise pattern, which I hadn't done before. Tessa the Tortoise is a land turtle versus the sea turtle. And I made two versions. I'm gonna show you the one first. This one is ugly. It's not the pattern, it's me. I chose poorly on colors and yarns. I know, I did bad. This pattern though, everything I would expect from an All from Jade pattern. Here's what I did wrong. Here's where I went wrong with this pattern. Tessa the Tortoise, you can get this on Etsy or Ravelry. It's a tiny bit cheaper on Ravelry, I think, because there's not as many fees, but I did get it on Etsy, and it is no sew. It starts from the top down. You do make the head separately and crochet it in throughout the process, but the feet are part of the pattern. You don't make these separately. This is from top down, you crochet all of these pieces. And it's so clever. It works out so nice. And these feet, because they're crocheted as part of the pattern, they are always in the right spot. They're always where they should be. You're not sewing them on and hoping so. And because of that, I think you have a much better shot of this standing upright rather than tipping forward. And she does warn you in the pattern that it might have a tendency to tip forward. So she gives you some thoughts on how to help keep that from happening, which is one of the many reasons I love All from Jade patterns. All from Jade patterns, if you have not looked at one yet, they include the pattern, how to do all sorts of things. There's pictures and videos for anything special about the project, how to do invisible decreases. There's a little tutorial block on there, how to close up your turtle when you get to the end. There's a video for any little piece of how you might not be sure to do something. And on top of all of that, she'll show you the pattern in different yarns and tell you what size hook to use for that yarn and what size eyes to use for that yarn. This one was made out of Parfait Chunky, and this is a random premiere yarn that I got in a mystery bag. And so I knew to use a 5.0, and she tells you what millimeter eyes to use with this particular yarn. Amazing. If I was using burnout blanket, she would tell me what size hook she used and what size eyes she used for that. Amazing. I just find it so helpful, especially if you are a little newer to amigurumi and you're not used to making those choices for yourself. It is just so good to have the pattern be that specific. And I don't find a lot of patterns that are. I love this one. Anyway, I wanted to redeem myself because this one did not turn out great. I think that this mystery yarn from Premiere is about the same size as a Sweet Snuggles Light rather than a Parfait Chunky. I don't know how that works out. I know that both Premiere and Loops and Threads have this blossom yarn and they look identical. I don't know, maybe they're produced at the same place, but this is definitely thicker than the rest of the yarn in this project, which is part of why this looks a little weird. This, however, is the other stinking adorable Tessa the Tortoise I made. And for this one, I used one of the modifications she includes. She includes several. This is, I just made it like a chocolate ice cream cone shell with my brown palm yarn. And this one also, it's so good, you guys. And you can see, these were both made out of, you can see the difference on this particular one. This one, I gave it some pretty blue eyes. It also, I know, broken record, but look how pretty it stands up because these legs are exactly how they ought to be. They're placed exactly where I like this pattern a lot, and I am not even a tiny bit surprised how much I like it, because I've liked every pattern I've tried from her. In comparison to Tessa, I also tried, this is called the Tiny Turtle, and it is by Savagely Stitch Shop on Etsy. I paid $5 for this one, and it looks pretty darn similar. If you look at these, they're different, but they're pretty similar in their general vibe. This one, I like it. It's a good pattern. But this one required me to sew on every single one of these pieces. And I don't mind sewing. There is no reason for me to sew on all these pieces when I can get this result without it sewing anything on. I don't feel like I'm compromising anything in this pattern or from this turtle by sewing this on. Also, this one is not as stable. I've had to really it's stable now because I've gotten really finicky with the feet. I sewed them on not perfect. They're not exactly right. And so I've had to kind of like smush them around to get it so that it will stand up. So if it gets smushed any other way, if it gets like not quite right, it'll just tip over. In this head-to-head battle, Tessa is the one I would go for every time. I do like this one. It's a good pattern. If you have it and you love it, let me have it. I know it's a good pattern. I would use this one if I didn't know this was an option. But knowing this is an option, I'm gonna do it every time. Every time. All right. I have two more that we're gonna run head to head. And these two are different. These are different. These are different patterns than I have seen. You guys have probably seen them because you guys are always way ahead of me. This one is called Noo Turtle Palm Pet. Noo Turtle Palm Pet. And it is from She's Crafty Crochet US on Etsy. And I paid $4.50 for this. And I'll show you the picture. I've been putting the pictures up here, but there was just something about the design of this that was so unique to me that I just wanted to give it a shot. So here it is. I am obsessed with this turtle for, I don't know, something about this neck. They do have an option to make it longer or shorter depending on your preference, but I liked it long. So I think I went almost as long as they said you could go. Maybe I could have added another row, but I am obsessed with it. And I love these little fins. Are so easy. You make them first, you crochet them right in. They're very lightly stuffed. And then there's just this big piece. I mean, it's just, there's something about it that's just caught my eye and the aesthetic just made me really happy. I gave her bright pink eyes to match the big pink body. So this one though, like this, oh, I got it tipped. So like this one does not stand up. But if I tuck these legs in, let me show you. If I pull the front legs in, it stands up great. And so if I want to display it, that's just what I do. But I think that looks so cute. Okay, this does have modifications, and there is a modification that has feet that are more similar to this, but are no-sew still. This whole pattern is no-sew. And so it has feet like this so that it won't tip over and it can stand on its own a little better. And it does have some great mods in it besides that. Not only does it have the mod with the feet, it also has an eyeball mod. I'm sure you guys can see the picture. And I just, for, what did I say here? There's $4.58. I think this is a great pattern. Lots of options for how you can do it differently. And it went together like, kind of like a dream. You do sew the neck here to the shell so it doesn't flop. So there is a little bit, that is sewing, but you don't sew any of the pieces. They're all crocheted in. And I'm just kind of obsessed for this. I don't know why. What do you guys think? Tell me what you think of this pattern. This palm, it's called a palm turtle. Palm pet. It's called a palm pet. Tell me what you think of the palm pet in the comments, because I adore it. I just adore it. And it's so simple. Love it a lot. This one's Free Turtle Crochet Pattern, and it's by DIY Fluffies. And you can get this pattern on their blog or on YouTube in a tutorial. And it's just got a slightly different shell look to it, where the shells, you know, the shell rim here has like 2 rows of crochet, but it just makes it a little longer. And I just thought it was aesthetically very pleasing to see it like that. I thought it just gave it enough different of a look that it made it worthwhile for me to buy this pattern as opposed to all the others. It is free, like I said, free. It also, similar to what I love about All from Jade, it had hook recommendations for different size. So it has one, it recommends a 2.5 millimeter hook for sport weight. It recommends a 5.0 millimeter hook for Sweet Snuggles Parfait Chunky, and it recommends an 8 millimeter hook for a blanket yarn. And I love when they include details like that in patterns, especially in free patterns. Okay, so this one is low sew. It's not no sew. You crochet in the feet, but this head did have to be sewn on. I do think that I could probably crochet the head in and it would be fine. But I did sew it on since that's what the pattern called for, and we're testing the patterns. And I like it. I really like this pattern. I think it's really pretty. So these were just kind of 2 outlier patterns that didn't pair up with anyone, but I like them both. I would recommend either one of these. I think they're good for new or experienced amigurumi artists. I like it. I have saved my showstopper pattern for last. And I know you guys are probably thinking I did a jumbo or a human size, or I did not do a Crochet by Jenna pattern in this. I know, I am prepared for the backlash. I did not do a Crochet by Jenna pattern. I don't even know why. I meant to, I was going to. I just didn't want to sew, and her patterns require sewing. And I just didn't want to. By the time I got to the end of this, I hadn't done it yet. I didn't have enough yarn to do the jumbo one that I wanted, so I was gonna get more, and then I just didn't. I am sure it's an awesome pattern, and I am gonna do it in our next one. Hold me to it, you guys, hold me to it. But meanwhile, I did this amazing turtle, and I love it so much. I'm gonna show it to you first. This is from Raven and Jade, and it is Tallulah, the Boho Turtle. Isn't this amazing? This pattern has been on my wish list forever. I have been wanting to do it, and I was intimidated by it. And if you are intimidated by it, I decided I would take the fall for both of us. You and I both. I will take the hit, and I will buy this very expensive pattern, because this pattern is a paid pattern on Etsy, and it costs $10 for just this one turtle pattern. Is it worth it? I think it is, because I think I got it on sale. I think it was $7 or $8 when I bought it. I love this so much. Okay, let's talk about it. So you make all these pieces separately, including the head. There is an option. Aren't these cute? I crocheted these little flowers. That is an option. They also have an option where you just cut out felt flowers to put behind here. For some reason, crocheting this seemed less traumatic to me than cutting out felt. If you had a Cricut or something, obviously that would be a no-brainer to cut out felt. It wouldn't be hard, but I just thought I would mess it up, because I don't. I would have to use a pair of scissors or a X-Acto knife or something. So I crocheted these, and I love how they turned out. They're super cute. This shell, I also love. I mean, it's kind of like got granny square vibes, right? You're just doing lots of double crochets and chains all around, and then you're just doing these rows of single crochets on the outside. And then this little pink trim. All of it, I mean, the color combinations that you could do with this are just endless. I just chose some random colors I happen to have all in the same Sweet Snuggles Home Slim yarn. And so this is what I came up with. The part that intimidated me the most is being able to see your fluff, your polyfill, through these big gaping holes. And I knew that the pattern called for a layer of felt behind, and that just seemed like a step beyond what I was ready to commit to. But I'm gonna tell you guys, it was so easy. It is so easy. And this was the most fun make of all the ones I've made for today's show. I had the most fun making Tallulah. The hot glue and the felt, it was, honestly, the tutorial was good. The directions were solid on how to do it and how to make it clean. I can kind of feel a couple places where the hot glue kind of smudged through. I would be more careful next time. I think I could do a better job, but you can't see it. I can just, if I'm laying my hand here, I can kind of feel that there's some hot glue there. Overall though, I mean, it's gorgeous. It's no sew. It's no sew. It's no, this is no sew. And it is absolutely gorgeous. And this did not take me much more time than when I make a Tiana turtle from Jade, and it's a similar size. But I feel like the bang for my buck here is, I mean, this is just a wow turtle. I will be making more of these. She does have a smaller one. I don't own that one. I probably should have bought the combo bundle, but that one uses worsted weight yarn for this center part here. This is so good, guys. I don't even know if I want to sell this one. I just really love it. I probably will sell it. You know why? The only reason is because it is kind of hard to display. How would I display it? I don't know, but I'm obsessed with it. There was one part of this pattern that I did find a little confusing. There was one part where it had marked that when you get to this part, do this sequence of stitches. And I did not find that super clear. I struggled a little bit with that. Even having read through the pattern before I got to that part, it was still a little hard for me. I would be fine to do it again. It just, once I figured out that that's what it wanted me to do, it's not a problem at all. It was just a super easy sequence of stitches. I just wasn't clear on that. That's what needed to happen. Oh, also, you do have to sew this head here to get it to not be floppy. That's a lot of times true on these no-sew patterns. Also, these flippers, they could be stuffed. She recommended stuffing them. Because I don't stuff them for my other turtles, I didn't stuff them for this, but I think they might have been a little cuter if I had gone ahead and stuffed them just a tiny bit. Otherwise, I love everything about it. I do. So here we are, guys. 8 new turtles. My favorites. Scout is my favorite tiny turtle. Absolutely. Tessa is my favorite medium turtle. I am obsessed with this palm pet turtle, and Tallulah. She's the grand prize winner today. But honestly, these are all good patterns again. This Tofu, great pattern. This one, great pattern. This little one from Ribblr, great pattern. This DIY Fluffies, all good. No bad patterns here. I have a strong preference for not sewing if I don't have to. I will sew anything if I think my result's gonna be better because I sewed rather than try to do a no-sew pattern. If I think it's gonna look better, I'm gonna sew. I want my patterns to look nice, but these do. This no-sew patterns are so good. If you guys have any suggestions for what you want me to do next, I am thinking maybe frogs or octos or possums, or I don't know, we'll see. If you guys have answers, I'm not gonna do turtles next. I will do turtles again, and I will do them again before long because there are just so many. All right, that's all I got for today, guys. I hope you have a wonderful week. I will check in with you soon, and thanks so much for hanging out with me. See you later. Bye, guys.